Good morning and happy Monday. It could happen. It's happening. 10:30 in the morning. It's February 5th. I keep looking over here because that's where the date and time are on my computer. Anyway, February 5th, 10:30 in the morning. Happy Monday to you and happy Weatherperson's Day, huh? For those who celebrate. This is a long time ago. I think this was the year 2000, 1999, 98. Anyway, late 90s, maybe 2000. I'm one of those people. Can you figure out, do I look the same? I'm the second one from the left in the front there. So those were good times. And the reason why I became a weatherman is because I love weather. And if you're watching this channel, chances are you love weather, which makes you a weather person. In fact, let me read this from the Weather Service. Why February 5th is National Weatherperson's Day? Well, the day commemorates the birth of John Jeffreys in 1744, one of America's first weather observers. He began taking daily weather observations in Boston in 1774, and he took the first balloon observation in 1784. I don't know if he was in the balloon, but anyway, a pioneer in weather observation, someone who loved weather. So a lot of us have reported weather to the National Weather Service. You probably have too. If you love weather, you know what's going on. So happy Weather Person's Day to you. And well, let's move on with the weather because we love it, right? Here's what's going on around the country today. Watches and warnings, that sort of thing. And we persist with that flash flood watch in Mississippi where the dam might break. It's not a big chance, but it could. And so everyone's just on alert there, just in case. We have a little bit of wind in Louisiana for a wind advisory. Fog continues in the northern plains, and you see that green area in Nebraska. Well, that's for ice jams, some minor flooding. I'll show you that more specifically here in a second. But of course, we're going to talk a lot about California today, just watches and warnings like crazy. Winter storm warnings for the mountains, flood warnings and watches for much of the lower elevations, and the flood watch is now into Arizona, and the winter storm warnings now into Arizona as well. And you too, Nevada. So that storm's going to be moving east over time, but it's going to take its time. And then for Utah, we have winter storm watches up. And that goes into Colorado as well, and a little bit of winter weather advisories, watches and warnings for you, Idaho into Wyoming. All right, ice jams in Nebraska, yeah, on the Loup, Platte, and Elkhorn rivers. So additional ice jams are possible in the coming days, could lead to flooding in low-lying areas near the river. So it's pretty localized. So far, it hasn't been major, it's been minor. That's why it says minor lowland flooding due to ice jams. But just pretty interesting. This is my first winter in the Midwest, so it is a little bit different than, say, Texas or Arizona or even where I grew up in Oregon. You don't talk about ice jams a lot, but since it's warmed up and the ice has been breaking up and then it flows downriver and gets ice jammy and you get a little bit of flooding with that. So that's what's going on around these parts. Meanwhile, the forecast for today on your surface map, you see our low in Alabama with some scattered showers and storms for Florida. We had a couple tornadoes yesterday, a couple in Florida, one in Georgia, and not looking for severe weather today. So just your scattered garden variety storms. And then for the Pacific Northwest, it's rain and or snow depending on location and elevation. Heavy snow possible for Idaho into Wyoming. Heavy snow for the Sierra Nevada. Heavy rain for Southern California and inland with flash flooding possible. I'll show you that here in a second. And storms, just general storms possible in California today along with the rain. Now we have the atmospheric river into the LA basin in Southern California, and it's a lot of rain. These are the forecasts from the Los Angeles Weather Office in Los Angeles. These are rainfall totals for the next 2 days, today and tomorrow. 4 to 8 inches, 8 to 14 inches for the mountains and foothills, And then 2 to 4 inches or 4 to 8 inches mountains and foothills, depending on which group of showers and storms you're looking at here. So further to the north is going to be less rain, but the atmospheric river is taking aim right at the LA basin, and you see some of the rainfall amounts expected today and tomorrow. Pyramid Lake, 8.5 inches. 9.9 for Big Pine Mountain. Santa Barbara, 5 inches. Oxnard, 4.25. And you get into LA, 6 1/3 inches of rain in 2 days. Redondo, we're real close to where I was born. 4.74. Long Beach, 6.43. You get the idea. It's serious. So, high risk for life-threatening and damaging flooding. And I know people are being really careful driving around, and there'll probably be some rock slides, roads washed out, and then property damage just from flooding. So it's not a good situation. And it's going to end day after tomorrow. So not yet. Highs across the country today, a little cooler than it's been, but still very warm for this time of year. 60s, Florida, Texas, 60s and 50s. 60s for southern Arizona and into Southern California, and then even cooler for the rest of California with all the rain that's going on. But you still have above freezing temperatures all the way to the Canadian border. Again, you have the Colorado Rockies with elevation, highs below freezing, just a small part of northern Montana, maybe some cooler air sneaking in, and then Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York State, highs below freezing. But otherwise, just unusually warm for the beginning of February. Excuse me. And so here's what's going on tomorrow. Flash flooding rains continue for Southern California and move into Arizona and also Vegas, you're included. So the deserts of Southern California getting a good soaking, scattered storms along with that. And then it's heavy rainfall for parts of, or snowfall for Nevada and also parts of Colorado. And then a little bit of leftover rain into Florida. All right, let's take a look at our GFS model and see what may be according to this model. Let me open it back up. There we go. That's better. We're at 18Z, so this is an hour and a half from now, at noon o'clock here on the Central Time Zone. A little bit of this low still lingering. This was the cause of yesterday's severe weather in Florida and Georgia. Now South Carolina seeing some showers and some storms off the coast, but not too big of a deal. We've got rain and snow for the west. And then again, as you get into Southern California, this is where the heavy rain is. This is your atmospheric river. So you have your low up here. This is the surface low, but the upper level low is here as well. And then the circulation around the low is like this. It's just pulling up moisture from the tropics, and it's just training over the same area. And so that's your atmospheric river. That's your copious amounts of rainfall for Southern California today and tomorrow. I did it again. All right, here we go. Let's move forward. That would be better. And you can see just the rain continuing in Southern California as we go through the day today, as we get into tomorrow. But the moisture does move further inland. And so this is Tuesday afternoon here. We have snow showers for Nevada. We still have snow lingering in the Sierra Nevada, heavy snow for parts of Arizona and into Utah. And the rain still lingering in California, but now moving into Arizona as well. So Tucson, another round of what could be some good showers. We're talking pretty heavy rainfall for Yuma. They're not used to that. They get like 2 inches of rain a year. I've used this joke before, but Yuma gets like 2 inches of rain a year. You should be there the half hour it happens. So that would be Wednesday morning. It's going to come down to beat the band. Same for Sierra Vista down here. And then you've got snow in the higher elevations and lots of it moving into Utah and Colorado as well. Lighter snow back in Idaho and Nevada as we get into the day on Wednesday. Things do progress eastward. Not as heavy on the rain and snow, but you see now a low forming further to the north. In the plains, we're getting some good snows here now in North Dakota, back into Montana. It's been a minute. All the snow's melted in the Midwest. My snow's all gone. I mean, there's just a few patches here and there in the shade. But with temperatures in the 50s the rest of the week, that's going to be gone. But as we get into next week, or I should say later this week, this is Wednesday night. So this low is getting its act together in the northern plains with some snow with that. And another little low bringing more rain to the central California coast and for Southern California. They need a break, and they're going to get one. We'll show you that. But boy, Thursday, more rain and low elevation snows for Southern California. That moves into Arizona with some more mountain snows. Our low in the northern plains bringing more snow. North Dakota back into Montana. Still raining, though, in Minnesota. Rain this time in Minnesota is not normal, but it's happening. And, rain near Green Bay, rain through Michigan, snow now as the low moves further to the east. Snow now for the rest of North Dakota, a little bit of South Dakota too. And then our low that skirted along the California coast now into the Gulf of California, but still close enough for some rain in southern Arizona, snow in the mountains. Also some snow up there in the Washington Cascades. And then as we continue in time, I want to watch this area right here because it seems to be forming a little better. And so some pretty heavy snow in western New Mexico and back into the Intermountain West, some light snow. But as we're getting, this is late Friday into Saturday, and we'll just watch this. See these showers starting to bust out now in Texas, northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, into Mississippi and Alabama. And then snow on the northwest side, pretty far away from the low, but from the surface low. But snow now busting out in the plains, say Denver, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, and points east. And so we'll watch this and see if anything comes of it. It kind of weakens and falls apart. We do see some heavy showers in the south. So I backed it up a little bit so you could see Mississippi getting wet, Alabama, Georgia, some thunderstorms with that. Tennessee getting in on the action. South Carolina, here it comes. North Carolina, U2, Georgia, some more scattered storms, and then it moves off. And then the Gulf Coast around Houston, some thunderstorms here as we get, this is noontime Sunday. Again, Central Time, which Houston is Central Time. And as we continue to see lots of rain for the south and really kind of persisting. And El Nino bringing lots of rain to the south this year. I mean, it took a while for the pattern to kick in, but man, it's here. And you can see that showers and storms moving slowly across the south as we get into next week. I mean, this is Valentine's Day here morning. A little bit of a ribbon of snow for the Midwest, but not super heavy, but I'm holding out hope for a little bit of snow here where I live in western Montana. This would be Valentine's Day. I would love that. That's better than chocolates for me. Yeah, a little bit of snow, please. That would be great. Now, the long-term trends across the country, we're still continuing with warm weather, but it's being pushed off to the east. The cool weather on the west is moving eastward into the southwest. So Arizona, you're looking cool. This is February 10 through the 14th. And, that expands from there. So most of the west cooler than average. The western half of the country, instead of 2/3 western half of the country, still looks above average. And what about California's break from the rain? Looks like it. 10th to the 14th has the best chance of below average precipitation for that time period, while it starts to get wetter now further to the east. And so that is kind of how it looks in the long range. Of course, we'll keep you posted as we go because that's what we do, because I love weather and so do you. So happy Weatherperson's Day, and we'll talk again tomorrow on the Weather Mic.